Okay, let's introduce ourselves here. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
My name's Josh. I go by J.R. Harris. I'm an illustrator from Flint, Michigan, and I do a couple different series like Astronaut Highschooler and Henry Graves. And I work with a bunch of different people in a bunch of different places. And yeah, just kind of newer to the indie comic scene. In the past 3 years, I've been really pushing, trying to meet new people. So
That's cool. Who's next?
I'll go next. My name's Peter. I'm the creator of Medallion Comics. So I'm the lead writer and I guess the guy who's doing all the promotions and social media at the moment.
Yeah.
I have a few issues right now on Sierra Nova, and I even have some stuff on the merch store.
Okay. Whatever Dillon wants to go next.
I'll go next. So I'm Dillon and Lennon. I am the creator, main writer, and artist of Creepy Trees Inc. And we have 2 issues on the Sierra Nova Comics website, with one, our first short story, which will be exclusive to the website, actually coming to Greg's inbox next week.
Sweet.
It only took a year to get 10 pages done, but yeah.
Okay. And then
So
Dillon.
I'm also Dillon, and I don't write anything.
You edit everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make the website work sometimes, and and I edit Greg's comics so that they make sense.
And I'm Greg. I created this.
the Overlord.
Yeah, so I was gonna talk about the card game, but Hector can't be here because he's sleepy. He was kind of sleepy yesterday. Yeah, you don't matter. So, yeah, he's busy with something else, or he just wants to sleep. I don't know. But yeah. So instead of the card game, plus like I think only one person in here. Oh wait, I think Dillon. Wait, are you working on cards for this round?
Not for this round, no, not.
Oh, okay. So there's gonna be a second round, but you can actually like just listen to the podcast for the meeting that was yesterday, because that's gonna be a podcast this week, and then this will be a podcast for next week. These are gonna fill in our podcast episodes since we can't do them for a couple weeks because we have to focus on like our comics. So I figured, I could just take this and use this as a podcast. So,
Pretty legit.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about the platform in general, anything, your idea about categorizing things, you can tell Dillon and ask him, and you can figure something out now because he's here.
Well, like I was saying earlier, when going through the website, the problem is every time I've recommended it to friends of mine to go check it out, I need to give them my direct creator link, because if you're trying to find something on the main page, you have to be lucky, hoping you can find it mixed in with all the other comics, because they're all in the order, I'm guessing, when they were added to the site. So if I'm looking for my comic, I have Zenith Knights, which is like maybe towards like 1/3 of the way there. And then issue 2 goes like all the way towards the last third.
Yeah.
And like, for example, sometimes if somebody submitted multiple comics in one shot, they're there in an order. Another, like, this is more of a small commentary, but it might be more prudent to like have a better numbering conventions. Like, for example, my comic is Zenith Knights just like that, and then Zenith Knights issue 2. Rather than just putting everything like number 1, number 2, number 3, there's no standardized version of doing the titling, and that's one commentary.
It's a standardized version of doing the titling.
Well, I mean, like if I'm looking at the site right now, you have Murder number 1, Murder number 2, Murder number 3, and then you have Zenith Knights issue 2. Then you have Shaman's Destiny 2, Shaman's Destiny 3.
Oh, do you mean the order that they appear on the comic site, or the order they appear on your page?
Both.
No, on the comic site. On his, it's just his comics.
Yeah. Like, I mean, actually in both, in regards, like, It'd probably be more consistent if there was a more uniformed way of titling things. Like you have like, you know, issues 1, 2, 3, and 4, or you have one shots.
Oh, okay, so I'm looking at it now and I see what you're saying. Like sometimes it'll say like if it's issue number 1, sometimes it'll say like number 1, or it'll say 1, or it'll say issue number 1. Like, is that kind of what you're saying, Peter? Is that like
exactly
it's
yeah
not consistent in that aspect?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes they'll just say nothing. Like for example, like Wonder Duck or Soul Eraser. There's no or Shotgun Samurai. There's no like number 1 next to it.
Oh,
So
that's probably my fault.
No, real quick. You mean I got what you're saying, because we have like the title, and then there's like, if you go to the comic, there's the subtitle where it says like issue number 1 in the subtitle, but some of the titles actually say issue number 1. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like when you're looking at it as, because the first thing anyone's going to see is the huge list of comics, and if I'm going to be clicking on Zenith Knights, I'm going to think, oh, this is where all the Zenith Knights books are going to be. But no, it's only issue 1. And I wouldn't even know there's an issue 2 unless I go all the way towards the end of the page.
Yeah. I think there's like an ordering that we can do. There's like a thing called order when I'm setting it up, the comic, but I haven't ever touched that because I don't want to break things. So
that's fine. But the other thing though is I could probably get that subtitle to show in the comic search result too, like in the comic, not the search result, like the full comic thing when it shows all comics. I'll probably just have it so that the subtitle appears underneath it in small text saying something like issue number 1, you know, and so people will even think that there's another one. Any recommendations for comics that don't have a second issue? Not because it hasn't been released yet, but it never will. Like
a standalone comic.
Yeah, like what do you think that subtitle should say, or should it just not show one?
Just be like,
well, I think what you can do is the subtitle can be series or one shot. So if something's like, for example, I'm gonna use my book again, Zenith Knights. So when you see the name Zenith Knights, it's gonna say next to it series. Yeah, if it's one shot, it'll only say one shot.
Is that the common vernacular, one shot?
Yeah. Yeah. Like our serial killer comic is gonna be a one shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another suggestion is maybe you have a group. You have the option of choosing how you want to see things grouped, or maybe such as grouping by series, one shot, or maybe even creators. Because one thing I do admit is very well done. Like if I click on my comic and I go to Medallion Comics, I see my first and second issue, and I see all the stuff I have on the indie store. So all my stuff is grouped in one area. But the only way I can get to this section is if I go under my comic, then go under creator. If you had like a tab for contributing creators.
Yeah, kind of like how you have categories, but have one that just says creators.
Exactly. So like have like a creators category, so then people can filter through that. So it's like, okay, cool. I like Medallion Comics. What else do they have? Okay, cool. Here's all their other stuff. I like the Sierra Nova stuff. I like this. I like this. So it's a better way. It's another way to have everything grouped together in one place.
Yeah, and that way if they go to the all comics section, instead of going, what was the name of it again? They can go, oh, I remember their name, like the creator name. They can see that. Yeah, that's good.
And I think generally speaking, what you should be doing, in my thoughts, is for the comics section not to be grouped by like when every single individual issue is released, but group everything by series.
The only reason I wouldn't do that is because I'd want it so that as people return, they see stuff as it gets released. And if we do it by series, some people have like 10 comics. And so if they release one new comic, they could take up the whole front end of that page. So I understand, but I wouldn't do that only because of that context. It would like basically like the people that are pumping out small comics in a large series, every single time they would upload, we'd have to put their whole series in front of everybody.
Okay, well, why don't you do a tab for new releases? So you have a thing at the top that's new releases. So the last 10 books that got added are going to be there.
So under all comics, would you rather just be like alphabetical order by series?
Yeah.
I think that would be an easier way to kind of like absorb the information. Because yeah, when I click on comics, is like when it says all comics, is that just the most recent, or is that just a category, or is that just a
I
grouping?
believe it's relatively organized by most recent. I don't remember.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah, the most recent ones are at the bottom, from what I
Yeah.
understand.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's recent.
Oh, okay.
It's in reverse. Yeah.
Because that's it. Because right now, if you're a newcomer to the website, and let's say you came in like 3 months ago, and then you come back and you click on comics, it's like, oh, there's nothing new. Maybe you're not noticing that.
What is that, by the way?
It's Dylan's phone.
It sounds like the foghorn on like a boat.
Yeah. And I don't mean to be critical or judgmental or anything. These are just the things I've noticed from the
Oh,
site.
don't worry. I take everything as criticism, or what is it? I don't take criticism
Constructive.
ever. So don't worry.
Okay, yeah. That's the thing. Like, if I'm basing it on other like platforms I've seen, like a good idea would be to have maybe a tab for most recent releases.
Yep. Yeah. Just not. Yeah. So basically, the all comics should be alphabetical, and then there should be probably under comics. I probably make it so like when you hover on comics, a drop down will come down. It'll say all comics or new releases, and any other big broad category like that.
I think what you should do is make one for series. So like if you go comics and hover over it, you see the options. One of the options should be ongoing series.
Instead of showing all of the comics, it would only show maybe issue 1 with the others stacked under it kind of thing, just like separate. Is that what you mean?
Oh, as in like if I were to click on Velica, for example, and I would open Velica and I would see all the Velica books, and then I can go through them one by one.
Yeah, because there's like issue 1 kind of like close to the top or something, and then like 2, 3, 4, 5 is like.
So okay. So if I clicked on it, maybe I see the visible one, but on that same page underneath it, the rest of them, almost like like when you go to a blog site and you're reading a blog, and then it goes, here's 3 other related blogs, like that kind of thing.
More like, for example, if I were to click on Velica, what I should be seeing once I click on it is what I see when I go to Velica Comics, where all of their issues are together in one place.
So a new web page is what you're saying.
So don't go right to the comic. Go to the comic series if it's a series.
Exactly, yeah. So that way it's like, oh, Velica, cool. And then you see, oh, there's 5 issues of this. And the other thing is, like, in my commentary is that when I click on a comic, and the what I see is like basic membership, free, enhanced membership, there's no preview of the comic here. There's no image of the comic. I just see Velica issue 1. A good suggestion of what could be loaded here is maybe the first 3 pages. So when people are clicking on Velica, they're like, oh, here's a preview. To read it, click here, click here. So at the very least, you know you've clicked on the right thing. It just feels every time I click on a comic, it's very bare bones.
Yeah. See, the only issue with that is just the way that our whole site is set up. So basically, a lot of the stuff we did is partially bootstrapped because we knew that from the get-go we didn't have viewership coming, because we just built this before we even started with communicating with any creators. And the membership plugin that we used is a free plugin that has limited capabilities. Like, it took me 3 days to make it so that after you log in with a new membership, it goes back to the comic that you were actually looking at. It used to just send you back to the home page. Like, I had to create an entire series of like cookies to make it so that it would track what you were doing, which I probably am supposed to put some cookie reminder on our website as well. And then after you logged in, it would send you back there. So to showcase, so if I was going to showcase the pages of the comic, the way the comics are stored is through like this PDF viewer. So I'd have to figure out a way to extract the PDF viewer and only show a limited number of pages. And at the moment, I have no idea how to do that.
Okay.
I do believe, because there's a lot of stuff I would like to do that's hyper complicated. Everything else before that is stuff I can definitely do. That one in particular might be a tough one to do at the moment.
or at the very least, like if I'm on right now, I'm on a page for a comic. Like I've clicked on, for example, Anomalous. I've clicked on Anomalous, and what I'm seeing here is like, I don't see any photos. I don't see any. Okay, now my internet's bugging. I don't see any photos of like. I don't see a photo of the chapter 1. The first page, the cover.
Do you mean
And at the bottom
on the membership thing you're talking about, or on the page itself?
On the membership thing, I'm not seeing anything. Not even like the cover.
Yeah.
And at the bottom, I noticed this for the first time ever. It takes you to if I go all the way down, it says Within the Woods chapters 1 and 2 and centered vignettes. So like 2 other comics that I have no idea what they are, and there's no picture.
Can you
It's
share
like
screen real
I have
quick?
no idea what's clicking. Sorry?
Can you do a share screen real quick and show me what you're looking at?
Sure. How do I do that? I haven't done that with.
On the bottom in the middle, there should be like a big.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yep, and then you
Okay.
just have to designate what you want to share.
Here you go. So you see here at the bottom,
Yes.
that's what I'm referring to.
So this is after you clicked on Nightlands.
Yeah, not being logged
Oh,
in.
oh, yeah. Those are like the next comics. Okay, so I should probably. How can I hide those?
You should pay for my books. They're that.
Well, it's not a question of hiding them. It's more of a question of like maybe put the image of the comic there so I know what those are.
Well, no, the reason why those are even appearing is like, so this is like a general WordPress. So this is stuff I can change, but it's a general WordPress page layout, is that it tells you like the next 2 blogs, like the one after the one before. And so what's happening is I didn't even realize those were there. I wouldn't want them there when you're about to get a membership for the comic you just clicked on. So that actually is a good point. I should be able to do that. But I probably will make it so that the cover's visible on the membership page for the comic you're about to look at. That would probably be the thing I could do that would make you realize, like, oh yeah, if I finish doing this, I get the thing I was just looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, I think relatively speaking, that's all of my suggestions. Group by series, group by creators. Clicking on a comic takes you to the series, not just the first issue. So like, yeah, those are my recommendations.
Yeah, and I really do feel like just those few things, like just me cruising the website the past few days and everything, like honestly, those few things I think would help the things that I was noticing and like answer the questions that I had of like, okay, what's new, what's not, if you get a new releases tab, that takes care of that. You got the series that takes care of that. Like, I think though, just those few things is really going to clear up a lot of problems I had with it. So.
New releases would probably be easy for him to do. All he has to do is create another category. I can even probably do that. And then I can group whatever new comic, like Astronaut Highschooler, like I can actually, like click that as like, instead of featured, it'll be new release, and then
Just
that'll be
under
under
new
the
release.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
And
At
then
the very least, if it's too complicated to do, one thing you should be doing is right now everything's ordered by release date, with the oldest being first. You should probably reverse it so that the most recent is first.
Yeah, that one I want to see if I can do right now while you guys are still giving me more suggestions.
Yeah.
What is that?
Just to give it the air that it's being updated, that things are happening on the site.
any like other layout type things you guys have a problem with, or
On the
anything?
home page, it says comic collection. Here, let me.
I think I okayed that because I think Dylan's like, "Is that good?" And I was like, "Yeah." Actually,
yeah. No, that's okay. I was just wondering, like, are these new or are
These
those just
these are
examples, or-
these are featured.
featured?
So
okay, so okay.
I only like, I don't really promote our comics as much as most. So
Try to push
that's why
more.
that's why I have ink there. But I might replace it with some other comic. But Dead Broke Down in 4 Dead Bodies, that was just uploaded. So technically, if we had a new release thing, that would be under that instead.
That would be there. Okay.
Same with Drake's Revenge.
Yeah, he finally got English, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It has a bunch of Spanish ones on it.
Yeah.
English version. Oh yeah, I see that.
It's cool because like he's one of probably our oldest creators, but all his stuff was in Spanish, and then he was like, I finally got my stuff in English, and we're like,
Well, that's cool.
The most views on there.
I was gonna say the cool thing too is like based on like our odd collection of creators, like eventually like that could be a thing where like we have him go through people's comics and make a Spanish version, and now we can literally like have it when you're logged in, you can choose whether you're English or Spanish, because I can set the website up so that it knows to convert everything to a different language.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done it because that's like I haven't needed to do it, but that's
right.
something that would be cool to have.
The availability is important.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I think that was my biggest thing, was just the homepage, kind of like understanding what it is I'm looking at. Because like I figured they were probably just featured, but like
should
it just
say
said comic
featured,
collection.
you think then? Because I think originally it just said comics, and then I think we tried featured comics, but then I wanted it to be a link to all the comics, and then I'm like, maybe we just do something else, and then we switch to comic collection. Do you think featured comics would be better?
Something to that degree, yeah. Just so that way, I think it's more the impression of what I get is like when I go to the homepage, this is the first thing I see. Yeah, I think saying featured comics, my mind's like, oh, okay, those are new, or those are popular artists or whatever, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So like, I think having something like featured comics,
Yeah.
but then you can like making sure it was like a clickable link that when you click, kind of like, because I see, was it comic collection? Oh, it's
Because if
not
it's
a clickable.
featured comics, it would make sense if it wasn't clickable, because it would just be free
Just
comics.
whatever's beneath it. Okay, yeah, I was thinking comic collection, the word itself was clickable, but it's not. Okay, I see how you did it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because originally it was going to be, then it wasn't going to be, and then we're like, I don't know.
It's just,
Or you could just call it the featured comics.
yeah, I think that is a good idea.
We could probably have new releases above that too. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And like your featured stuff, you can be like, hey, what do we want to promote this week? What's popular right now? So you can have it like rotating for your various contributors.
Yeah. We could also probably add it would just be like a picture anyway. I think I could probably add that on there. Like the top creator of the month, which I just started in April. So like I think Abel is the one that like won that basically in April. So whoever is like has the most views on the website, they'll be the top creator of whatever month that is, and I can actually put that on the website, and people will be like, "Look, I'm famous."
Look at me.
People
I think it's
are
a
looking
good
at
idea.
me.
Yeah,
because it does, just kind of like what Peter was mentioning, like it makes it feel like there's updating going on that way. And so when you first go on the website and you see that the month that we're in, you know, or at least the previous month shows something going on, like it does feel like, yeah, things are going on. This isn't like a 20-year-old website. Well, it's not 20, but you know what I mean. Yeah, because I think that is one thing that like one of the biggest criticisms I think of a lot of like artists' websites is that I can never tell if they're being updated or not. And so I think making sure there is a sense of this is recent, this is going on, I should be a part of this.
Yeah.
I should be a part of this.
Because you know, when you follow the Instagram, the social media, you know things are happening. But
exactly.
No, that's the thing. Our websites don't always reflect our social media. Like, Lord knows the last time I updated my Patreon.
Right.
Yeah, I was actually looking at Patreon. I created one for this game. I do gaming and I stream, and I created one for that just to start figuring out how it even works. I got all the way to the end, and then it's like, now you got to come up with like cool stuff that they can have, and I'm like, oh
crap,
I'll do this later. Sounds like a problem for tomorrow, Dylan. He's a lot better than today, Dylan.
I was to say, is tomorrow Dylan is he going to be happy with you?
Yeah, the guy at my job, he was like, he plays a lot of games from Patreon, and he's like, oh, you should just use Patreon for your video game that's coming out. And I'm like, no, I'm good.
Don't think it's gonna work.
No way.
No. I'm like, no, I want to bring people to our website. I want people to go to Patreon, and then
then stay on Patreon.
Yeah,
I want both.
Well, yeah, that too.
Don't know the website, but give me money.
Oh yeah, for that video game, I don't know if everybody's seen that like create our universe thing that we're doing, but since Dylan, you have like you're into coffee, and we kind of do need like a coffee kind of company. So like you could have a coffee company in the video game.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I was
So
like,
like
which Dylan? He said Dylan and coffee, and I was like, me?
John Lennon's brother.
Me?
Yeah. So right now we're gonna start doing the second round of that, which is fast food chains. Well, burger fast food chains, and there's like 12 of them or something like that. Josh's partner or whatever, the guy
Yeah, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Yep.
He came up with like 2 names or whatever, so I have to pick one of the two for that. It's like burgers and books or something. Oh yeah.
Oh, I did see that on the.
Yeah.
Was that on the Facebook or?
Yeah, I think it's on the group or
Yeah, the group.
something. But
Yep.
yeah, some people like put multiple names, and I'm like, oh, well, I can only use like one of the names. I'm not gonna like put 5 names from one person.
From one person. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
quite fair.
If anybody has like any designs that they want to upload, you could just send them to our email for the web store. I forgot who said it in the last meeting yesterday, but they said like the indie store is like its own thing. Like it needs like somebody else to like kind of like look at that. And I'm, I upload the comics and I got to do like 5 other things. So I don't know, like I could always like promote the indie store.
I forgot that this was the first fully custom website I built. There's so much stuff I never finished customizing on here. That'll make it so much easier for you to edit. So yeah, just so you guys know, basically I have a certain special set of skills, but I'm also too lazy to use them. So I try to just teach Greg how to do everything. And but the way that I do it is by going, okay, how can I make it so Greg can do this? Because I'm not going to teach him PHP code. And so I ended up slowly making the site easy for him to edit. And now, let's see, voila! So Greg, now you can add the word featured comics, although I already added it. But you can edit it if you go to the homepage edit. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like a computer genius.
Say, do you feel accomplished?
Take over the world.
So where it says like news and events, like, is there a way that you could like add something there?
I can make it so you can edit that word entirely.
All right, because it says like that, but then it shows our like check out our merchandise, but it's just our shirt. Like if there was like maybe if it was like what?
Hey, fuck you.
If there was like a cascade thing, if you can do that or something and show like other things.
An idea would be, what if it was like a GIF that just cycled through all the different merch on the site?
Yeah, like you could do like
Good.
yeah.
So a merch carousel.
Yeah. I was also thinking of like, because I want to do like loot crate type things, like once the video game comes out, and there's that 3rd membership tier that we want to release after we get like enough people behind it. Has anybody like heard of Blaze TV on YouTube?
I've seen it show up, yeah.
No. Dylan watches a lot of Netflix. He watches this one guy, Steven Crowder, on YouTube, and then there's I forgot who else is part of that. But there's like a group of people that kind of like demonetize on YouTube, and they have this like collaborative thing, kind of like what we have. And Dylan came up with the idea of something like that, but we would get like other people's like websites and like even your websites, and people can go to those websites along with like our website to play a video game.
Basically, like we have our normal membership, but it would be cooler if we could either A, add a third tier, or B, simply charge a little bit more for our membership site, but it would give specialized access to anyone else's membership site. And they would also be able to have that same membership site sold on their platform. And so they can promote it directly through themselves, and that would give access to our platform. So essentially, it would be like a shared thing that, a shared membership that we would all be under, so that you essentially, instead of having to only promote our platform, you can literally get paid for promoting your own platform, and then we just all benefit because we're under the same wing.
I think I understand what you're talking about. I've seen some other websites do it too. Like for example, if like, hey, you bought a membership on our website, but hey, this membership on our website also works with content from this website.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
if you want to get silly about it, it's kind of like Brazzers. Like you get.
But yeah, like the way that we want it set up though is basically whoever's the one that sells it can do something. So the way that the Blaze TV thing does it is whoever the one that sells the actual membership gives something away, like merchandise from their platform, because they're the reason they got it. So like one of them has something called Mug Clubs. They give out a fancy mug with their thing. Another one gives out a tumbler. And they all have like something that they use to draw people in from their side. And I'm assuming, I don't know because I haven't spoken to any of them. But I'm assuming it's something along the lines of whoever actually makes the sale gets the majority of that sale, and then the rest is distributed amongst everyone in smaller fashion. So it also behooves you to promote yourself a little more as well, which would be beneficial, because very often we have people that they'll put stuff on our platform and they're like, how come no one's seen my stuff? And it's like, you never told anyone it was on here. And we don't know any of your current fans. That's under your wing, like, unless you want to give us your social media.
The more we promote, I mean, the better it's just going to get for us.
Yeah. Some people don't see it that way.
They expect you to do the promotion.
Yeah, and I'm
Even
like,
though we do everything for free.
yeah. I've done that for, I don't even know. Like I started doing that like one day. Like I just started sharing shit like on our story on Instagram, and then like it was like a new like frontier discovered. People are like, whoa, that's cool. And I'm like, you can totally do this like yourself.
You can literally do it yourself.
Yeah. They're like, you just shared my stuff.
One of the things though I do want to work on getting all the creators is are you guys are all in the Discord channel, right?
Everybody, Josh
I'm not.
is not yet.
Yeah, for him. Anyways, so in the Discord channel, I sent a link to a Dropbox file that has all of our brand resources. But I also want to eventually create a series of like Instagram templates, Facebook templates that'll all make it so that it's a what's it called, like a drag and drop. You just put it in your content, and it'll either have something like, it could be like, hosted on Sierra Nova Comics, or literally just a cool display to showcase comics, because some people just have no idea how to make anything marketing, even if they're artists themselves. So it's something that I think would be very helpful for creators. That's why I created that, because somebody asked on the chat board thing, Discord, whatever it's called, and they're asking like, hey, like what, how do we basically tell them we're on your site? Like, do you have any like logos? I'm like, oh, I need to think about that.
Yeah.
So,
I just went literally to Google search. I found your logo, and I found, oh, perfect. It has a transparent background. I can slap it on stuff.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. Like, it's the fact that you got to give people the least resistance possible. So something I was talking to a group of friends yesterday about, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, they wear the exact same clothes every single day. The reason why is they have 8,000 decisions they have to make every day, and they're aware that there's something called decision fatigue. And if they have to figure out what t-shirt to wear that day, that'll actually waste the valuable, decision they have to make later. And it sounds crazy, but it's true. Like, you have a limited number of those you can do a day. And so it's by eliminating that for our creators, we don't want to be something where they have to think about like, oh, where can I get the logo? I got to search for it. Like, I don't even want that. I want it so that there's like a page they can go to on their site called the creators page or whatever. When they're logged in as a creator, they're the only ones that can see it, and it'll give them all the stuff they can just download, which I think would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Kind of like what I was saying earlier. It's like, For the people coming into the website, you want them to go straight to the content they want to see. It's like, hey, I want to see stuff from this group. Here's all their stuff. Here's where I find them by group. Here's where I find them by series. Yeah.
Yeah, like eventually, like one of the things I want to do is, because again, like I was mentioning how earlier when you logged in as a member, or when you first sign up as a member, it used to shoot you back to the home page, and it took me like 3 days to fix that issue so that there's like a cookie that tracks. So to make it simple, I basically had to have something that tracked the previous pages you were on, and whenever you viewed a comic, it would save it as a token. And as long as you didn't view any other comic, when you finally signed up for a membership, it would just send you to the last comic you were looking at, right? That was the only way I could solve that problem. But that took me forever because most people who do this stuff don't like to share that information online because then you don't pay them to be their web developer. So, so I had to figure all that out on my own. So I figured that out. But when it comes to getting people, so say like you're like, yo, I just released my new comic. I know you've never read any of my comics, but you should go check it out. It's on this website. I want to make it so that there's a cookie that tracks people who've never gone to the website so that their first comic they can see without any wall. And that way they can get access to the people who release the new comics. And then hopefully, because I think like, I don't know, 60 to 80% of our creators have more than one comic. You know, like it's a pretty big number, right? And from that, we can make it so that we showcase their other comics, but when they click on those, it'll go, hey, to continue viewing comics, you need to pay for a member, or either pay or get the free membership so that we can collect their email. But I think that would be a good way to capture people, like, because yeah, some people, it's like they get there, it's like, yeah, let me check out your comic. Oh, email? Come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
but
actually
it is the one thing we do have to use though, just because I know it's that's the only thing that we can get of any value when people come and visit us is an email, because at the moment, like, first off, basically nobody has money in the world right now, so that's the most valuable thing we can get is basically their future money by getting their email, so we can let them know later when we finally offer something and they do have the means to pay for it.
Yeah. Actually, the meeting yesterday, Hector has a graphic designer that actually taught him how to like do graphic design, and he's actually, like, I talked about Basecamp, and do you guys all know what Basecamp is?
not really.
No. Okay, so it's like an organizational kind of app.
It's a project management software.
It's very easy to use.
Oh,
and,
okay. I've used
like,
other ones like that.
I assume everybody has a smartphone of some sort.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So like, it's a very easy app, and it looks like this when you actually like get it set up and everything.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it's this like, it's like a yellow button that says Basecamp 3, or it's just got like a 3 on it, but I can't find it right now. But yeah, so I told the people in the meeting last time, if like, are you okay if you like download that on your phone? Like, it's free. So because I'm gonna invite people to that, and I already have like the to-do list and everything set up for like graphic designer, like what they got to do, because that way Dillon doesn't have to do all that stuff, like make the templates and stuff.
What do I do?
You don't have to make all the templates and stuff, like what you were just saying, like hosted on. Yeah, like he's already like starting to work on that stuff. He's working on the card game, but he's also like gonna be working on like making templates for like social media. So we all have like templates that you can use on your social media, so it all like flows together.
Feels like an actual working together project, not just a bunch of hodgepodge thrown together.
Yeah.
Hodgepodge.
Hodgepodge.
It sounds like something. What? Damn it! What's his name? Jameson. The guy who's like, "Give me Peter Parker. Give me Peter Parker. I want this hodgepodge. This is
Spider-Man. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've used similar things like Basecamp. I just didn't realize that was one of them. So that's pretty cool.
Like there's Trello too, but like we don't.
Yeah, the reason why I went with Basecamp was I was looking through all of the available project management software out there, and ultimately when you finally have to pay for them, and for the free version, Basecamp destroys all of them, like stupidly. Like so Basecamp has the most available features for a free platform. Like some might have extra in one direction, but they miss all this other stuff. But this has the broadest for the free, and when you finally pay for it, you pay once. You don't pay for every single membership like $87. Like it's ridiculous what the other ones do. And this one for free, like you get like 20 different people you can add, and that's per project, and you're given 3 projects. So technically, you could have like 60 people on there for free. So it's pretty awesome.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and I would only need to add like Pedro, who is the graphic designer, to like those specific to-do lists. And I would have to add, like, Dillon's already on there, obviously, but
Who, me?
yeah, you, not the other one.
I'm not quite no.
But yeah, so I wouldn't have to add like every single person, but there's like the card game thing that's on there, but it's not like, I still have to figure out like who was gonna do what, because we were trying to figure out like if that Nick guy was gonna be the graphic designer lead, and he doesn't seem like that too into it. Plus, Hector already has like a graphic designer guy, which is that Pedro guy, so we don't need that anymore. Abel is pretty good at like, and Abel's pretty good at like keeping people like on track, like getting cards out. So he's really good at that. The Discord has been kind of silent lately, but it's because Hector has been busy with like his professional job, and like just being super sleepy. Yeah. So if more people could like
right now, when it comes to the card game, right now I'm finishing a current batch of pages. After that, we're gonna start. We have all like the basic designs ready. We're just working on some fancy backgrounds.
Yeah, and Hector, I wish he was on this one, but he's not. He just revealed like the last version of the card design, and it looks awesome. So we're going with that one.
On the Discord? I don't think I saw it.
I think he's gonna update it if it's not on there yet. But yeah, that's like the final design, because like we can't keep making. Well, he can't keep making designs. I'm not doing shit.
What are you doing?
Yeah. So we're gonna go with that. But there's like way more to the card game after like we get enough people into this. There's gonna be a second round and maybe a third round. I don't know about that yet, but after a certain point there'll be the battle card game, but we don't want to talk about that until like we have this all done and the other one.
Number one. We're gonna talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. So does anybody have any other questions about the platform, comics, uploading, anything? No?
I mean, I know my stuff isn't up quite yet, but I'm looking forward to that and kind of just, I don't know, getting used to being a part of it.
Yeah. Any new uploads, I'm now going to like tease it before, so like it builds anticipation. Yeah.
That's
we just started that like with our Angel Comics. Like he's like, oh, the English version of this. Like each week this month he's coming out with like another version like in English, and I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, can you upload this one? And I was like, okay. And then he's like, shit, there's like a mistake. I'm like, you want me to re-upload the comic because of one mistake? He's like, yes. And I was like, okay, when I wake up tomorrow I'll do that.
When I get a moment.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's actually kind of a thing maybe for Dillon, when you're putting in the like the PDF reader, if you have to like if you had to replace the PDF that's in there, I mean, is that pretty straightforward, or
I'm the one that
Greg, you actually do that.
Yeah.
So is that pretty straightforward?
I was able to eliminate. I've eliminated myself.
Oh my god.
Just get me away from everything.
Like it's not that bad when you're doing one, and that's why it's awesome now that we're gonna like build it up over time for like each comic. So like I have kind of like a period of like relaxation, but
so you
like,
can live a little.
but somebody tried to add their comic, it didn't work, they pressed the wrong button, they deleted all of the comics on there, and I said, Dillon, what the fuck? And Dillon's like, wait, you didn't do that? I'm like, no, somebody else did. And he's like, oh, well, why is that even there? So on the
Yeah, real quick. I don't know who the fuck made this plugin, but they should. I was so mad. One of the very easily, not hidden, not are you sure kind of buttons that they had on there was delete all PDFs.
And when you click it, it just
gone.
happens.
Like the second you click it, they all delete. I was like, what the fuck? Like, who would add this button with no warning? Like,
A
there's
chaotic
nothing. Like,
motherfucker.
you could be scrolling and accidentally click your mouse. You know what I mean?
That's
And that might have
insane.
been what happened. And so, yeah, we ended up going through all of that. And I literally went into the source code of the plugin and just was like, hide.
Yep.
Don't show. Because, like, the features, you should have the feature. Like, if we have to do a mass cleaning and we say we use a new plugin and we need to, like, save some memory, so we have to wipe this thing, like, that's a
It's
good
worth
feature
having.
to have. But to have it be like on the home page of this plugin with no warning, like you don't have to check a box, you don't have to be like, yo, are you sure? Like, no, gone, all of it.
It's just
You know
like,
what it reminds me of? Do you guys remember Futurama?
Yeah.
The suicide booths?
Mhm.
25 cents, bam, gone.
Yeah. So
Ridiculous.
after all of those were deleted, I had it was around like Thanksgiving time, like after Thanksgiving, and I just had to re-upload every single comic. So
Every
now how the
single-
order is, like that you're seeing it right now until like we fix it with Peter's suggestions, is that's how I uploaded them, like the new time. Like yeah. So
Re-uploaded all of
This
them. I
time.
gotcha.
it took 2 weeks to do.
So individually, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is a big deal.
Yeah. And then like I was rushing it, and then Dylan's like, this isn't that comic. I was like, oh, I must have been rushing.
Oh, like the
Yeah, he
wrong-
accidentally
yeah.
had like the same comic under 3.
Yeah, it was like it was
great.
called like Drake's Revenge, and it was like Velica or something that was not the same thing. And I was like, whoops.
Different.
Yeah. So I had to go back and fix that, but
Okay, so yeah, so it's not too big of a deal to replace one PDF.
no, I have to
But-
delete if I have to replace it, I have to delete each image in that PDF individually because
Wow.
it's not a PDF that I upload. I convert the PDF to JPEG files. So when it's converted to JPEGs, yeah, I say PDF because like I don't want to, because some people sent me like TIFF files. Don't know why they sent me TIFF files, but they've
Yeah.
done that. I'm not gonna name the person. They're not in this group right now. But
Maybe.
no, it's this guy, this one guy. But so he sent me TIFF files after I said don't send me TIFF files. So then I had to find like a converter to like convert those to JPEGs. Then some of the files weren't converting, and then that was like 3 hours of my life I'll never get back. And yeah, so don't do that.
Okay, don't do that. Send
So-
a PDF.
So then I convert it to JPEG, and then all those JPEG files for that specific comic is
Go into
uploaded into there, and
Okay.
it doesn't take that long to do.
Mhm.
But when I have to replace the comic because there's a little mistake that the artist couldn't see the first time, I have to delete all of those pictures and then
So you can't
re-upload.
just replace a single picture, replace the whole thing.
I do that just because I don't want it to be. It's like out of order in a way if I do that because I've done that before. I think it was like Afro Thunder.
Thunder.
It's like a manga that's on there, and like the page layout was weird the first time I uploaded it. I don't know if it's still weird, but it's like I deleted one picture and it was like 45, and then it went to 48, and I was like, oh, okay, that's
Oh,
weird.
okay.
Yeah, so
You're
it
gonna hate me
doesn't.
down the road. I'm just letting you know that. I had to do a retcon for issues 1 and 2, so you're gonna hate me.
No, it's fine, but as long as it's not 100 comics again that I have to like
Oh
redo.
god.
Deleting comics is so like a refreshing thing. Like when I deleted like Sigil Comics off of there, I was like, oh, bye.
I don't have to worry about you anymore.
Yeah.
Alright, so was there anything else you need to chat with us, or?
No, like I would have talked about the card game more, but like Hector's not here and his graphic designer's not here, so
Fuck. Yeah. It's been a while since that happened. It startled me this time.
but
It's fine.
yeah, I could stop recording and then yeah. So we'll
Cool
see.
beans.